A very warm welcome to the Art Vlog, Art Lovers, with me, George Dopamine. When you think of the word Impressionism, what do you think about? Is it badly reproduced prints and cosy little tea towels? Or is it a radical art movement which pushed the boundaries, appalled critics, and still astonishes us to this day? I'm very much in the latter camp. When I was only 15 years old, I went on my own to the Musée d'Orsay in Paris and had my mind blown. If I could pinpoint one moment when I became an art lover, it was there. I spent about 3 or 4 hours in the gallery and came out with my head buzzing. It's why I just had to visit Edinburgh today to explore their exhibition, A Taste for Impressionism, which is on at the Royal Scottish Academy behind me, just off Princes Street on the Mound, very close to the National Gallery of Scotland. I'm really pumped for this show because we are incredibly lucky in Britain, as well as London. Cardiff and Scotland have world-class collections of Impressionist art thanks to some very astute collecting. And so today I want to take you inside this exhibition, which, as far as I'm aware, brings together the Impressionist masterpieces from all over this wonderful country, Scotland, and brings them together in one place. As always, I'm going to show you some of my highlights and then share my thoughts afterwards. So do come and join me as I head inside the Royal Scottish Academy, which you can see behind me, and A Taste for Impressionism. I should say as well, by the way, this is on as part of the Festival of Art, which is part of the magnificent festivals buzzing around me here in Edinburgh. But it's on until the 13th of November, so you don't have to come here during the festival period. It's £15 for adults to get in, reductions for different others, so come and join me as we head inside. This first room represents the Barbizon School, and the Barbizon School was named after a tiny hamlet on the edge of Fontainebleau where artists went to study nature. They were revolutionary and really influenced the Impressionists. Artists such as Millet and Corot painted outside for the first time. They recognised that nature changed its view depending on the light, and they put a breach in the traditional way of painting. Corot was spontaneous. He didn't retouch his paintings, which caused outrage amongst the critics, but was an approach obviously followed by the Impressionists to come. I'd then encourage you to walk through the main room straight to this one, which looks at some of the precursors of Impressionism who existed in the early and mid 19th century, and my favourite two paintings in this room were both by the artist Gustave Courbet. Courbet used thick brushstrokes and a palette knife, and he painted outside. Have a look at this one, The Wave. He painted this outside in Normandy. You can clearly see influences from Hokusai, but it's also a wonderfully alive painting of nature, and he painted this many times. However, the piece de la resistance is the central gallery, which you just walked through, and I now advise you to come back to. Honestly, this gallery has masterpiece after masterpiece within it, and I'm going to share a few of my highlights in a second. But what I love about this gallery is that you get to see some of the biggest Impressionist and post-Impressionist artists at their peak, as well as showing sculptural works as well. Just have a look around for a second. My choice masterpieces are pretty obvious, like this beautiful classic Degas ballet dancers or Monet's haystacks. He painted these multiple times in different weathers. This is in snow, or his classic poplars on the River Epte, which in my opinion is as magnificent as the water lilies, or this divine Van Gogh with expressionist brushstrokes I love from him. And these Gauguin paintings, this one very radical, the gallery collected this when it was a controversial subject, and a Tahitian painting as well. You will be schooled in Impressionist masterpieces in this room, and it is worth the price of admission on its own. I also enjoyed a smaller room, focusing on affordable Impressionism, looking at smaller paintings and prints, which the National Galleries of Scotland used to plug holes in their and fill gaps in their collection. It's a really different take on the big paintings in that room that I've just shown you, and I spent quite a bit of time in here. This room in yellow firmly focuses on post-impressionism, and there's a fake in here which you have to spot, and there were some artists in here I hadn't heard of and I really enjoyed, but a couple of classics, a Picasso from his Blue Period Mother and Child, which is a really well-known image in a very well-known series. And I love this Cubist painting as well by Braque, because it was very, very different. Obviously it shows how far art comes in such a short amount of time. And having started the exhibition at the start of the 19th century with the Barbizon School, you end in the mid-20th century, in 1942, with prints from Matisse's very well-known piece of work called Jazz. This was actually originally going to just be about the circus, but he kept adding images which were beyond the original subject matter, and as a result he chose the name Jazz because he thought that did justice to the movements and the energy and the rhythm, if you like, of the piece, and it gives you a sense of the breadth of this exhibition as a whole. Well, it's always lovely, especially on a slightly rainy day in Edinburgh, to be embraced by the warmth of Impressionist colours. I did enjoy that exhibition. My initial thoughts were that there are many masterpieces within the exhibition, and if you wanted to see a great in-depth overview of the Impressionist movement and post-Impressionism to a lesser extent as well in the UK, then this is the best place to come right now. I particularly enjoyed the curation. This was managed to ride two horses at once, which is quite a difficult thing to do. There's enough richness in the Scottish artistic Impressionist and post-Impressionist collections to provide a comprehensive chronological view, with the middle room, this big room that I'm showing you again now, the absolute highlight. And there are some bona fide Impressionist and post-Impressionist masterpieces within this exhibition. The show also managed to tell the story of the collectors who bought these magnificent works to Scotland. Some collectors with incredible foresight and good taste who were able to snap up some of these works when they were a lot more affordable than they were today. And I found this particularly interesting, the diverse range of artists. I mean, Maitland was the biggest donor, but there were other men and women as well who used their wealth to provide Scotland with a world-class Impressionist and post-Impressionist collection. So I thoroughly enjoyed it from that point of view. So overall, would I recommend this exhibition? Oh yes, I would, 100%. It's the best place at the moment in the UK to see a really world-class comprehensive exhibition of Impressionist and post-Impressionist works. Yes, we've got that wonderful top gallery at the Courtauld down in London, but this, in my opinion, surpasses that. It's £15 to get in, which is really good value. It would cost a lot more if it wasn't for the fact that most of these works are owned by the Scottish National Galleries, and so can be usually seen for free, but not in one place. And one of the most fascinating things about this, that all the art comes from Scotland, and it explains why Scotland has such a world-class collection of Impressionist and post-Impressionist art. So do come along to this exhibition, which is on until the 13th of November. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great getting to know some old friends, to be reunited with some wonderful works, and it certainly left me a bit like that busker, singing from my soul. So don't forget to subscribe to the Art Blog and hit that notification bell for upcoming previews and reviews of shows across London, the southeast of England and beyond. We're coming now, rather sadly, but also excitingly, into the autumn season, where a range of new shows will be opening up, and I'm hoping to bring as many of those as possible to you. I'm going to try to be a bit more regular about when I upload every Thursday, so do check the Art Vlog every Thursday, check the channel, and do get out there and keep on exploring the wonderfully rich UK art scene.